sentenced once again. But this time he was not returned to prison. Instead, he was given a community corrections order, and that decision would allow him to just remain in the community. At the same time though, he was already facing 11 separate DV charges. So the system had identified risk, which is good. It had documented behavior, but it had not removed him from public spaces or public life, which is bad. And within this same period, there was also another layer to this whole thing. A woman that the man had previously been in a relationship with. And it would be on the night of March the 22nd into March the 23rd, while Audrey was out with friends, that the man was once again making contact with the woman that he'd been in a relationship with. He did this over and over through calls and voicemails, the contents of which were clearly threatening. He was making direct statements indicating that he intended to end her. So these two separate timelines on the same night were happening in parallel. One person was moving through a normal night out, but another's behavior was escalating in a way that had been seen before. At this stage, these two paths have not crossed yet, but they are moving towards the same location, and the timing begins to overlap. So, after 2 a.m, Audrey leaves the Gosford Hotel. She goes from a crowded indoor space to an open road. And remember, she couldn't get a taxi or an Uber, so she begins just walking home to her friends. She continues walking, continues sending Snapchat updates to her friend, and this confirms that at that time she's still in control, she's still safe. As she continues walking, her last known location was near Arena, close to Punt Bridge. This is a stretch of road that runs alongside water. And then, at around the same time, another data point appears. At approximately 2:43 a.m, a mobile phone is detected in that same area. It is only location data, but it does place someone nearby to Audrey. So now, both timelines are occupying the same stretch of road, the same physical space, and the same point in time. At around 3 a.m, a nearby resident hears something. It is a high-pitched scream. One single moment that stands out enough to be remembered. At the time though, it was not immediately connected to anything sinister. Emergency services were not called, so the moment just passes. And then, the area just falls back into silence. From this point forward, there is a noticeable gap. No confirmed movement from Audrey. No further communications. No witnesses who can describe what happened next. The next real point in the timeline is when Audrey does not arrive at her destination. She does not respond to any messages. In fact, she's never seen again. By the time morning arrived,